First of all, I'd like to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to interview with me.
Thanks so much for having me and inviting me over.
Yeah, first of all, could you introduce yourself, your background, your name and all that, and your business and how that all came about?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Naudia. I'm the founder of WeDrifters, and we specialise in premium clothing, which is made from a very soft bamboo fabric and infused with an anti-insect treatment. So not only is it really comfortable, it also keeps biting insects away. So it's great for if you're travelling or camping or just want to go out and have a bit of peace of mind. And the business product was all inspired by my own travels. So I absolutely love traveling, but have always struggled with insect bites. So I used to get really bad allergic reactions and also reacted badly to things like antimalarials. So for me, kind of keeping bugs away has always been super important. But I hated a lot of the traditional repellents that you get on the market. So that's really what led me to research and find what else we could put to the market. So looked at the kind of fashion industry and looked at combining treatments with textiles to develop our innovative sleepwear. And I guess in terms of my background, so before I was doing that, I worked well over 10 years in kind of healthcare marketing. So I did biochemistry at university and then took on a kind of account handling / project manager type role. So that's kind of what I've done before the business, and I've obviously kind of used those skills within the business as well.
Obviously, that's amazing. So you've had transferable skills that you kind of, is what you've been learning. You've already been preparing for this in a way.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think the project management side really helped with looking at what I needed to do when developing the product at the kind of early stages, all the way through to obviously launching it and doing the business planning, getting everything set up. So I think the skill sets from my career really kind of helped the skills with getting the business together and working out who I needed to bring in and get involved. And it's a role that I really enjoy doing. So it made the transition into business really enjoyable as well.
Oh, that's amazing. There's a lot of science involved. It seems like there's a lot of science involved in the process of WeDrifters.
Yeah, so the science side as well has been super helpful. It was really important for me to understand the treatment and how it worked, and also any kind of regulations and things around that. So my science background definitely helped with kind of navigating that and understanding it. And I think having that more scientific mind helps with more of the detail sometimes as well, and paperwork and things like that. So yeah, that I would say has come in handy as well. And now also when we're looking at kind of new innovations and research and development. So with that, I'm working, getting to kind of potentially collaborate with leading scientists at universities on new textile technologies, which again really brings in the kind of science side again.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's good to have collaborations, especially with these budding people within the industry, the science industry, people that have expertise and all that. And yeah, and people that that just graduated as well, people that have just come out of university fresh with ideas and all that. These people.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I've been working with a few kind of universities with their talent as well and students. So we've had student interning for business and things like that. And yeah, as you say, it's so great getting new, fresh perspective, and just collaborating is great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really it. Now, for those people that don't know, now get to know WeDrifters. Now you know about the business. What do you say is your main, thanks for that, what do you say is your main inspirations behind, what could you put down to your main inspiration behind WeDrifters?
Yeah, so a big part of it was the travel and the need for the product. But I guess outside of that, the traveling also really kind of inspired my own personal ethos of kind of living life on your own terms, and the essence of freedom that you get when you're traveling or doing whatever it is that you love to do. So I was really keen to kind of build a brand around these ideas and inspire people to essentially do what they love to do. And I think travel can help people sometimes discover that, or discover what's important in their life, or get new perspective and connect to people around them, the world around them. So as much as I was excited about launching the product, I was also really excited about just developing this WeDrifters brand and a community of people who connect with those values and connect with what we want to do. And I think the other side that I was also really kind of passionate about is bringing more representation as well to the travel industry and outdoor. Because I mean, before I went traveling, I had so many hesitations around what it would be like and whether just what the reality might be like. So yeah. I mean, that was a number of years ago, and the world has changed. But you know, I do want to kind of ensure that through the brands and through what we do, we're also making it as inclusive as possible in multiple different areas as well.
For sure, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, for sure. As you said, keep on expanding and adding value to the people that go on holiday to these certain areas. That's interesting. What would you say? Because you're a fashion brand, right? Would you, because it was a fashion brand with a difference, sleepwear, with the bamboo as well, which is very interesting. What would you say makes you stand out from other fashion brands? What is your USP from premium fashion brands?
No, it's a really good point. So we're kind of a fashion tech brand where not only are we kind of fashion design led, we've got that functional element. So the function of the treatment, keeping bugs away. So I guess we kind of sit in the between the more kind of functional brands and the more just pure fashion brands. We kind of sit in between. But I guess what's kind of different with us is that all our products are really designed around comfort and the peace of mind element. So, for instance, other insect repellents in the market, they might be effective at keeping bugs away, but they might not be practical or comfortable to use. And then obviously other kind of fashion products would be comfortable and great for travels in general, but wouldn't obviously keep the bugs away.
Yeah.
Our main USP is really just kind of sitting in that middle, but also the other key thing is we also focus on the sleep experience. So when I was traveling, it was mostly at night time when I really struggled. So that's why we've initially really focused on when you're going to sleep, ensuring you get that peace of mind with the product then. And there's nothing really out in the market kind of focusing specifically on that with anti-insect clothing. And our sets not only include kind of tops and trousers, we've also got a pillowcase that gives some protection of the face. That also converts into a bag, which it fits into. And then we've got kind of socks and things that can kind of attach and detach together. So it's quite, everything's been created quite specifically for a specific purpose and mindfully, which then also gives us that point of difference when you look at other fashion brands or other products in the market to keep bugs away.
For sure, you want to kind of cater to all the people and be that, for the people, want to cater for all the people, be there so that people of all different needs can kind of come in and make good use, benefit them in a good way. So it's amazing stuff. Keep on striving. We'd love to see this. What is, this might be a tricky question for you, but what would you say is your favorite? What do you say is your favorite moments as the founder of WeDrifters? Can you put down to one? What's your favorite?
One. Gosh, that is. There's honestly been so many, so it's really hard to pick one. But if I really had to pick one, it probably would be the day I launched, because the product development phase was so long and took so much time and effort, and there were so many kind of hurdles as to whether I could even get the final product to market. So just actually pressing launch and having the product on the market was just a huge personal milestone for me. So I think at that point, you know, obviously I had hopes that the business would do well, but I honestly for a moment didn't care, because I just was happy that I had launched and stuck to what I wanted to do, and that for me was just kind of a huge achievement. So that was definitely a special moment. Just, you know, say I've launched the business and I've got a product in the market.
Yeah, I can imagine. You'll be so proud of. You'll be so. That's your first launch today. Your first business, like the pride you feel inside will be immeasurable. Yeah. It's just immeasurable, and you're telling your friends, your family, your close ones, and it's like everyone was happy for you. The whole thing. It's like the whole feeling. It's the whole experience of the impact on others, yourself, and you
Yeah,
know?
I really really appreciate it
Yeah,
as well because you can see how this one idea has led
yeah,
to the creation of this actual brand and product. So yeah, I think it's just kind of appreciation
yeah.
for the journey to that point as well. Yeah, for
For
sure.
sure, for sure. Has it come from the ideation bit to the execution, and it's a whole story, as you said, the process behind it all. It's just it can almost be overwhelming at times that this actually happens, but so, um, was that amazing? Was being the CEO of your own business always something you dreamt of?
Yeah, I think I had always dreamt of being, CEO or founder of my own business.
Mhm.
It's something, I really enjoy. I'm quite independent. I really enjoy doing my own projects and managing my own projects, and I enjoy kind of having kind of creative sides, but also
Mm.
more kind of sciencey. So the idea of creating a business and combining all my different passions and skill sets into one thing has something that's always appealed to me. And apparently, when I was younger, I did used to say that I'd have my own business. So
Yeah,
I don't recall that, but apparently, I have always said it.
you've
So
spoken to existence. You've spoken to existence. You see, it's key. It's power. I mean, when you speak things as
sure.
it's things that happen, they happen. It's, history tells that like it just happens. You just speak people into existence. It was risk. It was definitely destined for you. It was destined. You know,
Yeah,
you
I
have your
like to think,
calling.
yeah.
It's your calling. For sure. And you've always been into the sciences, as you said. That is something that has been ingrained, almost ingrained. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've always enjoyed science, but also being very
Mm.
creative. And I think I kind of struggled when I was younger, having to pick one or the other,
Yeah.
and having to narrow down the focus too much. I've enjoyed kind of multiple things. So yeah, I think the fact that doing the business, you have to, in some areas, kind of have or at least oversee many different areas, and
Yeah.
it's beneficial if you can also kind of enjoy those. So for me, it's been great because then I can get involved with more creative branding, but also get into the science. So yeah, it's great. And obviously, when you're starting a business, you can essentially design and create it to fit around your own wants and needs. So
Definitely.
it's so flexible, and you can kind of adapt it as you grow as well.
Most definitely, most definitely. So how it evolves over time, mold it into different ways, and it's flexible. As you said, it's not just one structure, rigid. You're constantly adapting and evolving, changing into new ways, which is needed, which is really needed.
And I
So,
think as well, especially with the kind of pandemic, I think there's so many new ways
mm,
of how businesses run. So, I think, a few years back it would have been more, this is the way to do it, and a lot of
yeah,
people followed that rule. But I think more recently there's been so many new ways of how people do run businesses and different ways of working. So I think that flexibility and adaptability is here more now than ever, which is great. And there's always new ways evolving as well.
yeah, for sure, definitely. Um, Tell me about some of the early challenges you've had. I know some founders I've spoken to, they've had the same problems with issues of funding and kind of investors. The first bit, getting started, the funding, it's always an issue to get started. You need the funding to get started. But it's a bit of a kind of catch-22 thing. For yourself, what kind of issues have you had? Did you have along the way? And how did you cope? How did you deal with them?
Yeah, we've definitely had our challenges, and I'll touch on the finance one because that's definitely a
Mm,
key one. Very similar for us as well. So I was trying to, I was kind of freelancing at the time of developing the product. So I was raising money myself and bootstrapping as much as possible.
mhm.
But then I was also able to get a startup loan to help actually fund the production of the first batch of
Yeah.
product. So yeah, the government-backed startup loan has been super helpful for us just to get things going, get things started. But for me, because the whole purpose of going into business was to have that ultimate freedom, flexibility, independence. I've always been a bit hesitant on whether to go down the more traditional funding routes.
Mm.
It's something I am still exploring and still considering. So it's definitely not something we've ruled out. But I've been trying to bootstrap as much as I can, and yeah, essentially do what we can to try and get the business to a certain level before then going for too much more external funding. So that's kind of been our thing. But it's definitely, I'd say, a big hurdle and challenge at the beginning. So I think doing what you can first and talking to other people in business to see what they've done is really helpful because then
Mhm.
you can see what's right for you, and it's different for every business. I think the other big challenge we had at the beginning was just finding the right suppliers. So especially obviously a physical product-based business, finding the right suppliers to work with was super crucial. And initially, I wasn't too happy with some of the ones I was working with. Just this was before I even had the product, but just at the beginning stages, and that led to a lot of extra research and finding new ones. And I think the biggest thing that helped was always getting recommendations. So whoever I spoke to, I'd always get a recommendation, and it was really through that kind of led to the people I'm working with now. So it's a good way to kind of vet who you should work with. But yeah, I'd say they're the key things. And I think the other challenge is sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
That's
So
right.
yeah,
Literally.
you can be the most
Yeah.
prepared person, but
I can
you just
relate. I'm sure many of us can relate to that. Yeah.
and I think the only thing that I can say that really did help with that was just speaking to, again, so many people who are in the same space. So ideally people who are a few steps ahead of you,
Yeah.
to try and learn and gain as much knowledge so you can at least kind of avoid potential mistakes and learn through what they've already gone through. So networking and listening to recordings like this and videos and platforms like this is super helpful, I'd say, to just get your knowledge base up and keep learning and figuring out what it is you need to know.
Major key insights. You're always learning insights. You're always adding a new perspective to a topic that you didn't know about. You're changing your mindsets. Everything. It's like everything's always increasing. It's like, and it's just unimaginable. It's so invaluable, all the advice you can get from networking, people you're meeting, the talks, and to talk videos, you watch everything, interviews you listen to. I think it's just so inspirational. It's just so inspirational. So inspirational. At the beginning, did you have investors? Was it hard to kind of get investors? You said it was hard to get investors. How did you go about seeking investors?
So we didn't actually go for investment in the end, but I did do a lot of networking with investors. So I found it helpful to get input from investors. So I had a lot of kind of one-on-one calls and went to a lot of networks to try and understand whether our business was at the right stage to go for funding, and if we did go, what would be potential agreements and how would it all work. And also spoke to businesses who had been funded by investors and tried to gather as much knowledge and insight to kind of figure out if it was the right route, and even did a few kind of business programs on getting ready for funding. But I think in the end, my main thing has been trying to get the business to a certain level before going through that. And I think the organic growth has been a better fit for the business. So that was really why we didn't in the end go for kind of pitching and going down that route. But I'm aware of so many businesses who have benefited tremendously from that. So it's a really great route for a lot of businesses, but it's not the only route, and it's not for everyone. Is probably what I'd say. But yeah, it's something we're definitely considering in the future.
Yes, to find your way. I was thought, do you ever think about going onto Dragon's Den? I'm thinking about pitching your stuff. I could see it, pitching your product in front of the dragons.
Yeah, I have a lot of people say that actually. It's again, I wouldn't rule it out. I think because I think the pandemic kind of slowed down some of our growth. So I'm just kind of keen to, we're at the stage where things are going in the right direction. So just want to kind of keep growing organically, and then I think when we're at that stage of really needing the external investment, then definitely I wouldn't kind of rule out something like Dragon's Den as well. I think it'd be a fun experience, to be honest, just to experience.
For sure. I'm always watching it. This new series is making me so inspired. I'm always watching, hearing the businesses on the program. It's like, first of all, the conception, as you said, the ideation period, to get it to execution, and it's a different businesses, the range, and how there's some crazy ideas in there. It's like
it's fun watching because
it's good to
so
watch.
As well.
And the dragons as well. It's always funny what they say. But so it's absolutely amazing. What I think we've kind of touched on this before about your inspirations but more specifically, how has WeDrifters been informed by your own personal experiences out there?
Yeah, so I think a lot of myself is in the brand, because I guess the whole reason why I wanted to start the brand was, as I was kind of saying, about the freedom and living life in your own terms. So a lot of that is really ingrained in the brand identity and our values and principles, what we stand for. I think I'm definitely keen on getting better at communicating that through the brand. So obviously we've got our website and social platforms, but we try and communicate the essence of that, and also just through the community who resonate with it. But I think there's always more we can do to do that, because sometimes it probably stays more with me than out there, and there's so much more I want to kind of do with the brand in terms of expanding it. And but essentially, to kind of go back to your question in terms of the inspiration part, what we were also doing when we first launched was we hosted events like events where we would share inspiring stories, for instance, and things that have inspired us. So that would be hosted by WeDrifters, but give me the opportunity to also talk about what inspired me, how I create the business, and showcase voices from the community on what's also inspired them. So yeah, inspiring people through the brand is another kind of, I guess, element of what I'm keen to be
That's
doing
amazing.
more.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Events like that are so great to hear, not just for yourself, but for the consumers as well. What's inspiring them to invest in people that love
Yeah,
travel. It's the whole thing. It's like, I think it's so key. It's so key. It's so key to hear everyone's their why, their purpose behind
yeah,
their why, the reason for it,
exactly.
and that's absolutely amazing. Yeah. What who are your specifically, you talk about inspirations, following up on that, who are you specifically, your inspirations? Who inspires you?
Oh, that's a really tough one. Only because I think there's obviously a lot of people who have inspired me over years, but it's hard to kind of like narrow down into
Yeah.
specifics. I get that question asked a lot, and I'm always like,
Yeah.
it's
Of
hard.
course, how to answer. Gosh,
Yeah.
too many.
Yeah, I did read Michelle Obama's book did
Yeah.
inspire me when I read her book, and she's someone who I've always who's always inspired me. Just her kind of strength, how she carries herself, how she communicates, and what she stands for. So she's someone I definitely kind of feel inspired by, and especially after kind of reading her book, there's so much that resonated with me. So. But I mean, it's honestly hard to pinpoint, because I try and also remember that everyone's got their own story, and everyone's got, everyone in everyday life has something that I can find kind of inspiring. So I try and, I guess, draw inspiration from the everyday as well, and not just from kind of public figures and celebrities. I try and kind of take it from my wider
For sure.
community as well,
Yeah.
and friends and loved ones. So I guess I try and, I guess also actually people who I was speaking to at the beginning of my journey, so other founders, I found their stories really inspiring, because a lot of them had similar backgrounds to me and starting from similar places, and they were doing what they loved and had their businesses running. So I found that very inspiring at the beginning, getting real insights on the reality of it and what they've achieved, and that really kind of helped me at the early stages.
That's important, and that's key for all founders, for all people that want to get out in the entrepreneurial world, to, as you said, to mentor, to follow people that are already out there. And you end up learning more, because some people I feel like a lot of people don't know what entrepreneurs actually read, the hard work that goes into everything. They don't really know what people do, and they just see the kind of final products, and they're a bit like, it looks amazing. But when you delve deep and find out more about what goes into it, you appreciate it even more. You should appreciate it even
Yeah.
more when you see what behind the scenes, what they're actually doing behind the scenes and everything. It's just it adds to that whole experience, that whole entrepreneurial experience. And it's great to see. It's great to see the insights you get, perspective on this whole industry could just change with that information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So much that goes on,
Yeah.
and I think unless you really get into the detail, or I in the community, it's kind of, you just see, as you say, like the end output, which is great, but there's so much that happens before that
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of great speaking to other people who are in that and
Yeah.
getting, yeah.
It's like you're not window shopping, you've gone into the shop and like you're buying the items, you've gone into,
Yeah.
you see the item, you go and buy it. Now you actually first hand. It's not like you're just seeing it from a window, a glimpse, or a mirror or whatever. So it's good. It's good. It's good. What that's amazing. I guess you can say you can be your own, be your own inspiration as well. That's another one. Inspire yourself. Inspire yourself. Be
It's
through.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that because I think, yeah, you're right. You can kind of, yeah, if you can kind of inspire yourself and without even needing kind of stuff
Yeah.
external, that's great. Having that kind of inner calling and
Yeah. Yeah.
inner
For
purpose
sure.
experience. Yeah, that's great. I love that.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. A lot of entrepreneurs I speak to say that, this consumed by this world, because once you're in the entrepreneur world, I feel like it's hard to leave. It's like a bug. It's one of those industries that you just don't, it's part of you, it's part of your life. You don't leave the world. I feel like it just becomes within you, really deeply ingrained in you. What do you do when you're not working? How do you kind of switch off from the entrepreneur world?
Yeah, so that's definitely something I've been exploring, especially since the pandemic, but even before, trying to get that kind of work-life balance. So I'm quite, well, I try to be quite strict with my time and have boundaries. So when I wake up, I'll do some yoga and meditations, things just for myself to
Yeah.
set the day, set some intentions and things. And I always find that sets the day off right. And I try and protect that morning time as much as I can. And then I've got the time that I'm working on the business or whatever else I'm doing. And again, try and have it within a fixed time period as best as I can. Obviously, with the nature of the work, it doesn't always work like that. But
Yeah.
it's the intention. And, in the evenings, I I'm starting to do some new hobbies and sports and things, and
Nice.
creative hobbies in the weekend. And
That's good.
I mean, I like to just chill and not do much as well, to be honest, especially when there's a lot kind of going on.
Yeah.
I'm quite, go quite introverted and be a bit of a hermit sometimes, but I enjoy that.
Well, so you,
But I
so you're
think
saying you
that
can, yeah, okay. So you're saying you can be a bit of a homebody at times, but
a bit of a hermit, yeah, like
okay,
not leaving the house much.
okay.
So it's the balance between, I love going out and
Yeah,
networking and social
yeah,
events,
for
but
sure.
on the flip side, I'll need a few days just to not go out and regain energy and maybe have some like focused time on the business. So yeah, and I think even with the business, I'll try and even combine calls and things to certain days so that then I've got other days where I can just focus on thinking or be a bit more creative and do planning. So even things like that, I think help with the kind of balance and the beauty of kind of I mostly work from home, and the beauty of that is I can have the business hours around. I can mold my day around whatever. So it's quite fluid and flexible as well, within obviously kind of boundaries and bits of set.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You can watch a film if you whenever you want. You can eat, have lunch, go for breaks,
Yeah,
catch up with TV, all that. It's all going on. It's it's a major plus. Working from, I think, is a way forward to having what they're saying, the traditional 5 days a week. No, it's not there anymore. It's not there
no,
anymore. It's not there anymore. 4 day. I mean, saying what take 1 day off now, 4 days in office, 1 day at home, or 3 days hybrid way of working is a way forward.
yeah, 100%. And I think as well, when you've got that better balance, you're obviously so much more productive in the days when you are doing things.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think it's definitely the way forward. And I think one thing I have to be careful is because if I'm enjoying doing the things I'm doing, it can sometimes still be quite consuming and take up more time than I planned. So it's then remembering to have that balance. But I think, yeah, the working from home and hybrid working and all of that has just been such a game changer, I think, for having more balance.
Yeah, see, 100%. It's about being more efficient. I think working smarter, not necessarily working
Yeah,
harder. Just work smart, be more
yeah,
efficient, and do what you need to do in the time in less
yeah,
time. Really,
yeah,
really,
definitely.
that's the key. So you have more time for other things
Yeah,
that you love to do, also love to do, not
yeah.
from work. Yeah, good. Now, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Where do you see Naudia? Where do you see Naudia in 5 years' time?
Oh, I don't know where I'll be, but maybe if I'm not somewhere traveling, I'd like to think that within my year I'll have a lot more time to actually travel and explore the world and do the thing that inspired the business in the first place. Obviously, travel's been challenging for everyone over the last few years. So I'd like to think in 5 years things have normalised a bit more, and yeah, that would be ideal, that I can essentially work on the business wherever, and whoever is working within the business also has that flexibility. So I'm really keen to kind of be pioneering that kind of way of working, that people can be traveling and doing what they love to do, and also kind of doing the work alongside that. And yeah, having much more time for, well, I guess having perfected that balance between work and fun and all of that in 5 years, I'd like to think that's perfected and got it down to me. But I guess outside of that, in terms of the business, I would love to have it had grown kind of more internationally and really established in the UK and grown to international markets. And I'd love to have also brought out some new products. So we're looking to expand the range, but I'm keen to bring new products and expand into clothing and children's wear and well. So yeah, that would be where I'd like to think would be in 5 years, and also working and collaborating with other people in the industry, other brands, other countries as well, and doing our own initiatives kind of around what we stand for as a brand as well. So outside of the kind of products, so that would be great. And hopefully, if travel can be part of that and part of my business, that's also the dream. Yeah.
No, that's absolutely amazing. Speaking to existence, that's absolutely amazing. That is a great goal, some great goals to have. And you know, I can see, you know, when you said baby stuff, I was like, I'm looking at the WeDrifters website. I can see you having baby grows and all this. It just makes sense. It just makes the material.
Children.
Yeah.
Oh,
it would just fit. It would just be a natural fit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm hoping for, because we get a lot of parents actually asking, do we do it for children? And it's just something that hasn't been feasible for us to bring to market yet. So I know there's definitely a demand. We're always getting asked it, and it just makes perfect sense. So yeah, that will be a big part. And I think the other thing is I'm kind of keen to collaborate with travel companies to also create a lot of WeDrifters packages as well, in terms of travel packages, which can kind of really obviously which would include our products, but also be kind of built and designed around a lot of our brand ethos and what we stand for. So I think that would be a really great way to bring to life the WeDrifters brand in a much more powerful way as well.
For sure. You know, another thing I can see, you know, who knows, you may even be on Dragons. You find yourself on Dragon's Den in 5 years from now. You might find yourself, you might have a new boutique. You might have a boutique called, there might be a WeDrifters boutique out there. There might be a physical store. So, but you know, it's limitless. It's all limitless, really. Always go as far, dream as high as possible, and it's there's no barrier. There's literally no barrier.
I absolutely
no limit. Stretch your imaginations. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You have to believe that. I think go out and do it, and and have that kind of unlimited and limitless dream.
Yeah, for sure. You also need support, of course, but I think you need some kind of craziness, a bit of craziness in your thinking. You need to have that crazy ambition because that would take you, that's your fuel, that's your motivation to push you towards and make them really happen, make that happen.
Yeah, I think you have to have that initial vision and not kind of limit yourself in any way with that vision and dream, but then you obviously kind of can work back, and I think that essentially will kind of inspire you to actually go out and then do the things you need to do, which are step by step, and there are phases. You know, it's a journey, but I think having that vision and direction that you want to achieve, that kind of end goal, the end thing that you want, it's so important. Yeah,
baby steps, but yeah, for sure, it's like, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, but you get there. You get there. Well, I mean, which countries, which African countries are you currently are you in Africa at all? Are you in that continent?
So we're currently actually just selling in the UK, but we're just about to start selling internationally. So that's going to be kind of the key strategy for this year, to begin exporting. And we have had discussions with a few countries in Africa
Yeah.
with people interested in bringing the product to market. So that's definitely a key priority of ours. It's, as I said, kind of very early stages, still trying to work out all of the details, and it's exporting adds a lot of complexity, but you know, there's such a need for the product in countries within Africa, especially in regions where malaria is problematic. So that's something I am really keen to kind of expand to, hopefully at some point this year.
I'm glad you said that. I can resonate with that one so well, because being Nigerian myself, and I've had family members have had contracted malaria, and they've been saying the importance that they'll need. I don't know, people, a lot of people don't know about companies like yours, products like the ones you do. If they knew, I guess it's something that they would, you know, prevent them catching this.
Yeah.
And,
It's really important, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions and well, people not really understanding the importance of not getting bitten in the first place and how deadly malaria can be. So there's a lot of, I think, education that's needed around that, and obviously introducing people to brands like ours to just help not get bitten in the first place. Because obviously antimalarials are really important, but not getting bitten in the first place is really your first step you should be taking when you're going into countries where there's risk of malaria. So yeah, that, I mean, I'm keen to actually be working much more in that space to kind of help communicate that, help introduce products like ours. One of the things we are also doing is we're donating £2 from each sale to help end malaria, because obviously at the moment we can't get the product out to everyone, and it's not feasible for us to kind of give it to everyone also. So at this moment in time, what we're doing is obviously donating to charity, but long term, we'd love to be kind of having our own initiatives to help around all the impact caused by things like malaria and what we can do to help prevent that.
Amazing. No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Worldwide as well. Its impact is, it's everywhere. It's in every. I'm sure every continent. It's in Scotland. It's in every continent. It's in every continent. So it's something that it's important to kind of combat against. Which is great, and it's great that companies like yours are doing such things, doing such great things out there. Another tricky question for you. What is, or who is rather, who would you like to thank? Who, if you could thank just one person for where you are today, who would that be?
Ooh, that's a new question. I've not come across that before. That's a really interesting one. That is a very hard one to answer.
It would be hard for me myself.
Yeah, because there's so many people who,
exactly.
just pick one. Because I would say it's the people right at the beginning who I think supported me and believed in me enough to kind of keep going. And yeah, I mean, one of the people I probably definitely thank is my mum to kind of help support me. And I was actually had gone back to living back at my mum's when I first was designing the product, just to kind of keep costs down and a bit more feasibly. So she was really supportive of me starting the business and letting me kind of follow my dreams and see it through. So she's definitely someone who I'd like to thank, and has always kind of been a champion of mine for the business and what I do.
Oh wow, yeah. I always think that's amazing. Testament to your mom. Obviously, the people that raise you, like you always even giving thanks. You always want to give back, so want to make them proud and thank them for the help, they've support, all the support. I feel like it's always the people that knew you before. I guess your business knew you before, they knew the real you before. Those people, because they've seen your journey. They've seen how you are, how you've grown over the time. It's like the growth period. It's like it's only right to give thanks to the ones that knew before, before all this, before the madness in a way, because it's a testament. So I'm sure if your mom's listening, that's for her. That's for her. That's for her. Yeah, it's a major inspiration. I love that. Love that. And following on from that, to the fellow entrepreneurs, to the people at Budden, they're itching to get their ideas out there. What advice have you got to give them, Naudia? What advice have you got for them? For them to
I would say, I mean, I would definitely say go for it and believe in yourself, because I think the worst thing you can do is not do something and then regret it. Because I think in those initial stages where there's a perception of uncertainty and fear and all these things that can come up. And I used to always think, if I don't do it, I will regret it for the rest of my life. So even if I go for it and nothing comes of it, I'll be happy with myself and true to myself for just trying. So I would say, for people who've got an idea or something that they're going to pursue, just go for it and believe in it and persevere. But I think it's always checking in that you're doing it for the right reasons, doing it because you genuinely feel called to or inspired by. And I think when you feel that inspiration, it's never a wrong decision, because you'll either grow from it or learn from it, or it could end up being something amazingly successful and beautiful. So I think if it's coming from that place, absolutely go for it. And yeah, and in terms of, I guess, more advice, it would just be speaking to as many people as you can to learn from them, but also remembering to kind of listen to yourself. So filtering that through yourself as well, so that you're doing things that feel right for you and is best for you, because there's not one way that is best for everyone.
Well, stuff, Naudia, that's nuggets. Nuggets from Naudia. I couldn't actually put it in any best way. You said it there, so that was it. I couldn't say it in the best way. That was great advice. You've heard it there. You guys, entrepreneurs, you budding entrepreneurs, you've heard it there right now. Just get started. Just get started. You learn along the way. I mean, you don't need to know everything. Just get started. Have that idea and just get it going. Get it going. And then just make it happen. Make it happen. All about belief. First thing, belief, and just go out there and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. And finally, if you had an opportunity to speak with your old self, what would you say? What would you say and why?
I would say relax, it's fine, it's all going to work out. Because I think, definitely if my older self would have just been probably confused and not sure on things, and so many kind of unknowns, and probably second guessing myself. And I would definitely probably just say, because you'll figure things out as you go along, as you nicely put, and it's just kind of having a direction and believing in yourself. So, and I probably overthought a lot and caused a lot of unnecessary stress for myself, which is why the advice would be just to kind of relax and know that everything will, fall into place and work out, and just stick with it.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, that's actually amazing. Yeah, that's great. No, great advice. Imagine if we all speak to our younger self.
Yeah, that would be
Imagine if we all
good.
could, how many, I don't know. Hindsight's a good film, but it's like, if we all could, what would we even say? I mean, it's one of those things. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it would be such a different. It's what's made us where we're at now. It's been made from from our old self, so it made us now. So, but yeah, for sure, that's no, that's amazing. That's beautiful. No, thanks so much. Thanks so much for taking the time out to interview with me. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It's been really fun and great speaking with you. So yeah, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.